All right, let's talk about something that's been quietly happening in the world of car buying. It's this financial trend that's become, well, the new normal for millions of people. And frankly, it's a little bit shocking. We're talking about a $1,000 a month car payment. Just let that sink in for a second. A grand. Every single month. For a lot of people, that's more than their rent or their mortgage. It's a truly astronomical number. And get this, it's not like this is some rare thing. We're now at a point where nearly 1 in 5 new car buyers are signing on the dotted line for a 4-figure monthly payment. So yeah, next time you see 5 new cars drive by, there's a pretty good chance one of them is costing its owner over $1,000 a month. So this just begs the question, right? How in the world did we get here? How did this become so common? And maybe more importantly, who can actually afford this without going broke? That's what we're going to unpack. The answer? Well, it's not just one thing. It's really a perfect storm of economic factors that have all crashed together at the same time, creating this incredibly expensive situation for anyone trying to buy a car. There are basically 3 main ingredients in this recipe for disaster. You've got soaring vehicle prices, you've got rising interest rates, and then you have this really dangerous thing called the negative equity trap. Let's break them down one by one. First up, just the price of the cars themselves. The average price for a brand new car has just exploded. It's now sitting just shy of $50,000. That's a record high, and it means people have to borrow way more money than they ever used to. And then on top of that 50 grand price tag, the cost to borrow money has surged. We're talking an average of 7.2% for a new car loan, and for used cars, a whopping 12%. So that big loan you just took out, it's costing you a whole lot more in interest. And this leads us right into this financial quicksand called negative equity. This is where it gets really tricky. Over a quarter of people who are trading in their old car are already underwater on that loan. They owe more than the car is even worth. And that debt, it doesn't just disappear. Nope, it gets rolled right into the new, even bigger. But the numbers only tell half the story. To really get what's going on here, we have to look at the psychology. Why are so many people making what seems like a pretty risky financial choice?
It's because so many of us have fallen into this monthly payment mentality. Our brains just process these numbers differently. We don't see an $84,000 car. We see a $1,000 a month payment. We focus on that bite-sized number that feels manageable, and we kind of ignore the massive total cost.
I mean, think about it like this. Would you ever finance a new refrigerator for 7 years? No way. It sounds completely absurd. But for some reason, when it comes to a car, our financial logic just goes right out the window. And that's why over 22% of new car loans are now stretched out over 7 long years. And of course, there's the desire for more features, more status, a better trim level. People are willingly adding, on average, over $11,000 to their loan just to get the upgraded version. We're prioritizing that luxury today over our financial freedom tomorrow. Okay, so who exactly is signing up for these monster loans? When you start to look at the data, some really interesting and maybe even surprising patterns start to show up. So when we slice the numbers by generation, where people live, even by their credit score, a pretty clear picture of the typical high-payment borrower starts to emerge. It turns out Gen X is leading the pack. Nearly 11% of them are carrying these huge payments. And, in a way, it makes sense. They're often in their peak earning years, and they might need bigger, more expensive vehicles like trucks and SUVs for their families. And here's where it gets kind of weird, a real paradox. It's often the people with the best credit scores who take on the biggest loans. Why? Well, because they can. Lenders are more willing to loan them the money. And geographically, Texas is leading the charge, while some wealthier states like Massachusetts are actually showing a lot more restraint. So this brings us to the most important question of all. It's not about who can get approved for a $1,000 loan. It's about who can actually afford it based on smart, sound financial principles. A lot of financial experts will point you to the 15% rule. It's a pretty simple guideline. Your total car payment shouldn't be more than 15% of your monthly take-home pay. That's your after-tax income. This is supposed to make sure you have enough money left over for, everything else in life. Now, if we do the math on that simple rule, a household needs to bring in somewhere between $100,000 and $120,000 a year just to comfortably handle a $1,000 payment. And that, right there, is way higher than the median household income in the US. But wait, it gets worse, because that $1,000 payment is just the start.
You've got to pile on the cost of car insurance, which has skyrocketed, plus fuel, plus maintenance. Your true monthly cost to own that car is probably closer to $1,500, maybe even more.
So, what's a safer way to do it? Well, there's a 24-10 rule. It's much more conservative. It says put 20% down, finance for no more than 4 years, and keep your total car costs under 10% of your income. The reality is, very, very few new car purchases today come anywhere close to following this advice. And this is the truly staggering part, the opportunity cost. $1,000 a month for 7 years is $84,000. All that money goes into a car, a depreciating asset that might be worth 20 grand when you're done. Now, what if you had invested that same $84,000 instead? It could have grown to over $130,000. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to a question of priorities, doesn't it? Is the goal to build some temporary status by impressing people at a red light, or is the goal to build long-term, lasting wealth? That choice, really, is what's going to shape your financial future.